RamCountry.com proudly presents TNT Outdoor Explosion.
Welcome to TNT. This week, I fulfill a lifelong dream and hunt a croc with Mabula Pro Safaris. This is TNT.
TNT Outdoor Explosion is brought to you by RamCountry.com, Venture Out, HuntandTrophy.com, Logistics Experts, Dead Downwind, your last line of defense in the field, ESP Digital Hearing Protection, empower your hearing, Nature's Fury Nutri-Drink, find your fury, Obsession Bows, the fastest, most lethal bow ever made. Tinks Hunting Products, America's #1 buck lure. 4R Ranch, where hunting meets the mother road. B&W Trailer Hitches, the only hitch for the ultimate outdoorsman. Nichols Custom Guns, when you only have one shot, use Nichols Custom Guns.
Well, of all my trips to Africa, the place I've probably hunted the most times is called Mabula Pro Safaris, and my good friend Christo owns Mabula Pro Safaris. He's been doing this for a very long time and has some of the best hunting land in all of Africa. Well, I met up with Christo as usual at the Dallas Safari Club show. He asked me if there was something that I still had very high on my Africa hit list, and I told him very quickly that I've always wanted to hunt a croc. And so we quickly sat down, made plans, and next thing you know, I was on the way back to the Dark Continent. Well, we arrived in Joburg very late, and we stayed at our normal B&B, Africa Sky. And they have great food, great comfortable place to stay, and a bed feels really, really good after a long flight. Well, Christo has many camps throughout Africa, and he wanted us to start at his Kalahari camp. And it's an absolutely beautiful camp, so we were up early the next morning, headed to the camp.
On this trip, I really wanted to hunt a gemsbuck. We got to the lodge late, so we went out to see if we could get one on the first day. we hunted the gemsbuck for a couple of days with no luck, but Christo knew where they had frequented, so we decided to put on a stalk and see if they were there and see if we could get one that we could get a shot on. After stalking for a while, Christo spotted a huge herd of wildebeest, and we stopped just to watch them for a while because they are a huge, majestic animal. Well, as the sun started to set, we came up on a group of gemsbuck in with a group of eland and zebra, and we decided to put a stalk on them, so we had to crawl in to get a little bit closer to hopefully get a shot off. Well, luckily, the bull gave me a clear broadside shot. I got steady on the sticks and squeezed the trigger.
I just want you to just relax. They don't know where the shot came from. She has a springbuck here.
By the time I was able to get a shot off, we were quickly running out of daylight. So we tracked it for a minute, but it very quickly became too dark to see blood. As much as I hated it, Christo told me that we would stop for tonight and come back and pick up on the blood trail in the morning.
You find it? Yes. Yeah, they got it, man. Congratulations, we got your bull.
Well, the trackers at Mabula Pro Safari are incredible, and they were able to get me on my trophy gemsbuck, and I was so excited to see him laying in the brush.
Okay, BJ, we found your bull here. It's in this thicket where he tried to, protect himself, go in the thicket and lay down last night. Where we left this bull last night, where we lay down the last time where we saw it lay down, it must be like, I would say, 150 meters away. And I was just afraid last night to keep on pushing the bull because he will try and keep on going, and eventually, you push him so far that we lose the tracks and we lose the animal. So I think we made the right decision by leaving the bull last night, and I know it's not easy for the hunter. You kind of be sad and you don't have a good night's rest knowing the animal is out there wounded, but on the end sometimes you need to make decisions like this. Just leave the animal and come back early this morning. We found this bull. Congratulations once again. It's a really nice trophy, and I'm glad we got this bull for you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We will be more right back with some more hunting and TNT.
This segment was brought to you by Nichols Custom Guns. When you only have one shot, use Nichols Custom Guns.
Well, I grew up in Texas, and one of the things I grew up doing was predator hunting. And I absolutely, to this day, still love predator hunting. And on a previous safari in Africa, I saw an animal, and it's called a bat-eared fox. And it falls in that predator category. And I love this animal from the way it looked the first moment I saw it. So I knew that this was something I wanted to add to my bag list. Well, I talked to Christo about the bat-eared fox, and he was able to get me a permit. So we set out to make a plan to hunt the bat-eared fox. Well, the bat-eared fox is typically a nocturnal animal. Very rarely do you ever see one in the daylight. So the plan that Christo put together for us was to drive around at night and cover a lot of ground with the spotlight, and hopefully we could find one. Well, we had spent a lot of time out looking for a bat-eared fox, and we had covered a ton of land, and unfortunately, we never did find one. And we were actually on our way back to camp, and we were still looking, and Christo stops the truck, and lo and behold, there's two huge porcupine. And I had never shot nor seen an African porcupine. So Christo told me to shoot. So as the good hunter that I am, I listened to my PH and shot a porcupine.
Yeah, I got that on him.
That's awesome.
Okay, this week we've been hunting with Mabula Safaris, and we have a couple days left on our trip. I talked Christo into taking me out for a little night hunting like we do in Texas. And we're actually out looking for a bat-eared fox. But what you see in front of me here is a porcupine. And this is the African porcupine. Absolutely beautiful animal, and I couldn't be more excited to have this thing. I mean, I've only seen maybe one in all my trips to Africa, so to be able to get this African porcupine is something really cool. It'll be a nice full body mount in my trophy room. If you want a night hunt also, Mabula Pro Safaris has got your ticket. On my crocodile hunt, Christo said we would need to go to his camp in the Limpopo area. So he arranged for us to load up in a King Air private plane and head to Limpopo. Well, we arrived about midday in the Limpopo camp, and Christo thought it would be a good idea to go check some of the different sandy areas and dams and different things to see if we could get a good idea of where some of the crocs were. Well, we actually saw a lot of crocs the first afternoon, but unfortunately there were no shooters. So we decided to come in and have a real nice dinner, and hopefully the next day would prove to be the croc day. Okay, well, it's early morning and we've been doing some scouting here at Mabula, and we've been trying to find some different dams where the crocs have been located. And Christo has identified, and his scouts have identified a couple places where they've seen some crocs. And we're going to go down to an area right here, and there's a number of crocs in there. We just don't know if there's any shooters. So we're going to sneak up here and see what we can find. And then if not here, we've got some other areas we're going to check. But hopefully here pretty soon we will find a good shootable croc, and I'll get a shot on something before the day's over. Let's go. Well, after hunting crocs for a few days, unfortunately we had not seen the shooter that we were looking for. But we checked one other area where there was a dam, and there were 2 crocs out sunning on that dam, and Christo quickly identified one as the shooter we had been looking for. Well, Christo had spotted the shooter, but unfortunately there wasn't enough brush for us to get close enough to get the angle shot that we were looking for. So Christo thought the best idea was to back out, and as it warmed up later in the day, the croc would reposition because of the sun angle, and then, hopefully, we would get the right angle for the shot.
This segment was brought to you by 4R Ranch, where hunting meets the mother road.
Well, we came back a few hours later, and just as Christo had hoped, the croc had repositioned and moved to a different area. And luckily for us, we had plenty of cover to get into shooting range. Well, we were able to get into shooting range, and once we did, I was able to steady the crosshairs on the croc to hit the spine. And typically in most croc hunts, the first thing you want to do is anchor the croc, because if they get back into the water, you have a very, very slim chance of ever seeing that animal again.
Come here, shoot him again. In the neck. Done. Good shot. Let's go closer, quickly.
Luckily for me, the first shot was true, and I was able to anchor the croc, and then we put the second one in him for good measure, and I had one of my trophy animals of a lifetime on the ground in a huge African crocodile. Well, here is the result, this big croc that we got out of the water that I was able to shoot. This is my third try to get a croc, and you know, I came to Mabula. Christo and I have been hunting together for over 10 years, and Christo always puts us on the game, and this is no exception. This is a phenomenal old big croc. Part of his tail's been bitten off. He would have been over 14 feet. Just an absolute trophy of a lifetime, and I couldn't be more happy to have this croc as my trophy. This was a great hunt. If you'd like to find out more information about hunting a croc or any of the other great game in Africa, be sure and look on the website, as we're going to put up Christo's website with Mabula Pro Safaris. Check the screen, write it down, and give these guys a call, and you will have a great hunt, and hopefully you can get a great croc just like this one. I feel very fortunate to have that croc on the ground. I've always dreamed of hunting a crocodile in Africa, and a special thanks goes out to Mabula Pro Safaris. If you'd like to find out more information about any of the sponsors or outfitters, look at the bottom of the screen and you can get all the information you need on our website or our Facebook page. Hey, thanks for watching this week, and until next week, remember, do what you love and share it with your family.
Closed captioning brought to you by ESP America. TNT Outdoor Explosion is brought to you by ramcountry.com, Venture Out, huntingtrophy.com, Logistics Experts, Dead Downwind, your last line of defense in the field, ESP Digital Hearing Protection, empower your hearing. Nature's Fury Nutri-Drink. Find your fury. Obsession Bows, the fastest, most lethal bow ever made. Tinks Hunting Products, America's #1 buck lure. 4R Ranch, where hunting meets the mother road. B&W Trailer Hitches, the only hitch for the ultimate outdoorsman. Nichols Custom Guns, when you only have one shot, use Nichols Custom Guns.
On TNT. Say it loud, okay? You ready? Okay, 3.
Well, we spent a lot of time out that night and covered a lot of ground, and unfortunately, we never did see a black buck. Black buck? Where's that coming from?
We'll be more right back.
No. We will be right back with some more hunting.